Hi there. Not too long ago, I used to be the person who would buy a bunch of books on Amazon but never actually read them. I loved the idea of wanting to read books, but had a really hard time actually reading them and finishing them. It wasn't until 2020 when I bought my first Kindle where everything changed. If you're watching this video right now and you're on the fence of buying a Kindle, I want to share with you 10 reasons why you should. Buying a Kindle was the best investment I've ever made in my life, and I have a feeling it can be for you too. Now, the first reason I want to talk about is buying a Kindle means you don't have any other distractions. If you're reading on your phone, using the Kindle app, or on your iPad, for example, you will always have temptations for other apps. But even if you're reading a physical book, I know when I used to read paperback books, I would constantly be thinking about how big the book was or how many pages were left. All of that changed when I began reading on a Kindle. You see, when you're reading on a Kindle, literally the only thing you see is the page in front of you. Yeah, you can see at what percentage you're done with the book and things like that, but it's not that physical reminder. When you're holding a book, you literally have hundreds of pages you're holding that you could feel. With a Kindle, all you really focus on is the one page you're reading. There is no other distraction, whether it's other apps on your phone or the other pages in the book. The Kindle is one page at a time. The second reason why buying a Kindle is probably the best thing you can do is you don't judge books by their covers. Now, with physical books, let's face it, all of us probably judge the cover a bit more than we probably should, but on a Kindle, you don't do that nearly as much. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still gonna see a bunch of book covers on your Kindle, but especially if you're browsing for books on the Kindle itself, they are all black and white and they are much less tempting. You don't really care as much as the fancy design as you do about the content of the book. There have been plenty of books I've read on my Kindle where I probably would not have purchased them because the cover just was not designed as nicely as I probably would have liked, but on the Kindle, you don't really care about that. What you care about is the content and the lessons that you're learning, the value of the book itself. You don't really look at the aesthetics and things like that. You don't really care about fancy design or anything like that. It's all about the actual book. The next benefit of owning a Kindle has definitely been my increased attention span. This goes for reading as a whole, whether you're reading on paperback or digital books, you're still gonna get that benefit of an increased attention span. But the one added benefit of owning a Kindle is you're definitely changing your relationship with technology. After reflecting on it for a little bit, I can definitely tell my Kindle is the one piece of tech that I only use for one specific purpose of reading. I am definitely seeing myself more focused when holding my Kindle compared to my phone or my computer, for example, and having that one device where I am completely resetting my relationship with tech has been really, really nice. It's spilling over to other pieces of tech in my life as well. Next up, we have the benefit of better note-taking on a Kindle. I can talk about this topic for hours. I have so many videos about this topic as well, but basically I can highlight with ease, I can add notes with ease, all on the Kindle itself. I have third-party apps like Readwise that allow me to review my notes from books I've read years ago. All of these things are stuff I would not be able to do with physical books. I used to take a notebook with me everywhere I went with my physical books that I would never look at ever again. With my Kindle, my notes are very active and I'm really actively reviewing them every single day. The next advantage of buying a Kindle over physical books is no longer impulse buying books that you'll never actually read. When I used to read paperback books, I would buy books all the time, whether it's from a bookstore or from Amazon. I love the feeling of unboxing a new book, smelling it, and adding it to my bookshelf where it would wait for me to read, but I would never actually read them. On my Kindle, it really broke that addiction, and now I only buy books that I'm actually going to read. When I find a book that I think I will want to read in the future, I simply add it to my Goodreads want to read bookshelf. It's a built-in integration directly on the Kindle, which makes it so much easier to save so much money. I'm no longer spending money every month on books I am not reading. I'm only buying books when I'm ready to read them. Moving right along, the next benefit I have for buying a Kindle is being able to read at night. This was actually one of the biggest reasons why I bought my Kindle in the first place. When I used to read physical books, I would love reading at night before going to sleep, but I would always struggle with the light situation. Before going to sleep, having the lights on would make sure I would not fall asleep, but having the lights off would mean that a reading lamp would be required. I could never get the lamp positioned correctly where my book would be lit up properly. So I would always have this issue of wanting to read at night, but not being able to do so in a comfortable way. When I bought my Kindle, it had the built-in front lit display, so I never never had any issues with lighting anymore. I could literally be sitting in the dark and have my Kindle turned on and be able to read just fine. And the warm light made it very comfortable as well. And you could actually do this outside as well. The lighting will automatically adjust. So all of these features make it so much more accessible to read in any lighting condition. This actually segues really nicely into the next benefit, which is being able to read anywhere when you're in the Kindle ecosystem. When you're buying all your books from Amazon and they're all Kindle books, you can read them on any Kindle app. Even though the Kindle is my favorite device to read on, I still definitely have the Kindle app installed on my phone as well as my iPad. If I'm ever traveling, for example, I have a few minutes while waiting in line, or if I'm in the parking lot waiting for something, I can just pull out my phone and read a few pages. It makes it so much more easy to read a book anywhere you are. And this actually ties in very nicely with the next benefit, which is being able to read multiple books at a time. With paperback and physical books, you have the limitation of the physical size and weight of all these books. You can only carry around so many books at a time, but on my Kindle and on the Kindle apps, I can have access to my entire library of books within a few finger taps away. It makes it so much easier to switch between multiple books. I like to read different books depending on the mood I'm in, so I'm always reading about 3 to 5 books at a time. It just makes it so much easier to switch between books at a moment's notice. Next up, I also want to call out the benefit of being able to read things that aren't just books. When I bought my Kindle, I also started using it for reading my morning prayers. You can send PDFs to your Kindle and other EPUB files, other documents that you have on your computer over to your Kindle, and start using your Kindle as this all-in-one central place for all your reading needs. That is something that you just can't get with a physical book. The Kindle definitely has additional flexibility because it's technology and you have all these extra features, whereas a book is printed on paper. You cannot do anything with that once it's made. And the last benefit I have kind of sums everything up very nicely, is that buying a Kindle is just way more fun than reading on physical books. Now, I love my physical books. I still buy them quite often. I love the feeling of holding them and putting them on a bookshelf and having a collection of them. But the functionality that you get on a Kindle and the actual reason you're reading in the first place, all the benefits of owning a Kindle add up significantly, and you'll be so much more happier with your day-to-day experience compared to physical books. There was something about buying a Kindle that really sparked this love for reading that I never had before. Using a piece of tech that was designed for reading, which is a very analog thing to do, but having it in a tech form, really, for me at least, made it so much more fun, and I cannot be more grateful for owning a Kindle. I've read so many more books just because it's on a Kindle, and I probably would not have been reading as much had I not gotten it. Now, if you need some help deciding which Kindle to get, I have a very detailed video that compares every single Kindle head to head, which will give you more information. Link for that on the screen right now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.